Kieran silently observing his leg. Really loving those summertime shorts. Just whip them out in the winter now.
It's a good leg right now.
It's a good leg.
Yeah, I'm really feeling my leg.
On to the last leg.
Nice.
So yeah, swearing spoilers and opinions. You know the deal.
My legs look good in these socks, I think.
Yeah, okay, Kieran. All right, Kieran. All right, yeah. All right, so yeah, here's the podcast.
Bit of a power pose.
Hello and welcome to 250 Reasons to Stay Indoors. I'm Jordan.
I'm Keiran.
And this is the podcast where we watch the IMDb top 250 films. We use a random number generator which tells us what we're going to watch, and then we say stuff about them, don't we, Kieran?
Yes, we do indeed.
So what are we watching this week?
This week we are watching Trainspotting, and it is 157 on the list.
Yeah.
Came out in the year 1996. Again, big up 96.
Yeah, what was convenient about that year? Not convenient, what was special?
What was special about that year was that I was born in that year.
That's not it.
The film Trainspotting came out.
No.
You were 2 years old?
That's the one.
Okay, great. It's all about you, isn't it, Jordan?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's all that. No, yeah. So what do you think the film's going to be about?
I have actually seen this film before.
Oh, okay. When did you see it?
About a year and a half ago, I think. And so I remember quite strongly what happens in the film.
Yeah.
So I'm quite happy with it. But if I hadn't have seen it, have you seen it before, by the way?
I have, but it was a while ago. I couldn't say when. Years though.
Okay. When you saw it, were you surprised that it wasn't about trains?
I was surprised that there was nothing about trains at all.
Okay.
In the film.
Right. I was thinking that it might be something.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So, yeah. But I don't remember all of the details of every single little thing. So I'm looking forward to finding issues with it as well. Because I remember when I watched it, I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, this film. But I don't remember thinking, these are all the things that I hate about this film. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to pick it to pieces this time.
Most likely.
Mm-hmm.
So shall we go and watch the film?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
And we're back with a couple of fast thoughts. Trains.
Heroin.
Drugs.
Edinburgh.
Scotland. Fuck, sorry.
Layabouts.
Retail sales.
Retail sales?
Retail.
When was there a single
retail? Real estate.
Real estate, that's the one.
Going for.
Underage sex.
Ewan McGregor.
Dead baby. You got it. I believe in you, Jordan. Because I've got one ready.
Nicknames.
Wow. That was worth waiting for, wasn't it? And homemade sex tape.
Okay.
Yeah?
HIV.
What?
HIV.
AIDS.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. All right. Cool. Nice one.
Okay.
All right. That's cool.
You want to do a synopsis then? Or
well, I'd like to do a 15-second pitch first.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I'd like to do that thing where... Again, I talk over the time that Jordan tries to get the timer out of his phone whilst I explain what a 15-second pitch is.
The timer stays in the phone, Kieran. It's all one physical thing.
He brings it from the depths of his phone to the surface.
To the surface of the screen.
By clicking on the right places, and then it comes up with the thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then what?
And then he presses the button start, and then I start talking.
Yeah. That's it.
There we go.
Well done.
Thanks.
3, 2, 1, go.
We're in Edinburgh. People are addicted to heroin, and they do everything they can to get heroin. One guy called Renton tries to get clean. He goes down to London. He gets a job. All of his mates kind of join him. They save up some money, go back up to Edinburgh because one of the guys has died. They decide to sell a load of drugs because one of them ran into a bunch of drugs. They go back down to London, sell the drugs, get all the money back, and Renton runs away with all the money.
20 seconds.
Fuck.
It was a pretty accurate synopsis, though.
Yeah, I mean, I just flew over loads of details, like loads of stuff. Yeah. But that's kind of what happens.
But ultimately, you failed.
Okay. Yes, I did.
Yeah, and it's important.
And I'll
to be
put my
able
hands
to
up to
accept
that
yeah.
right now. Put my hands up.
Yeah,
I failed.
reach for the sky.
You don't have to sound so somber, Jordan. We're talking about drugs.
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah,
Come on, I feel like I'm really dragging you here. Let's do this.
yeah.
Yeah, heroin. Come on.
Yeah, no. Have you got some?
Oh no, sorry.
Oh well, then why would you get my hopes up?
Well,
Like that, Kieran? Come on.
You know, want to make it feel like this is the audio version of heroin. Like there's nothing better than this in all of the world, in all of the world of podcasting, of audio entertainment.
Yeah, just cook us up, inject us into your ears.
Yeah, just instead of strap yourselves in,
20 cc's of
strap up your arms and shoot up some 250 reasons.
heroin to your ears.
All right, cool. Let's do a synopsis.
Okay, right. Film starts.
And you, well, thanks for your contribution, Jordan.
I said earlier I'm gonna struggle. I don't know why. This film, I found it really hard to have a clear image of the sequence of events.
It is kind of all jumbled up. It feels like at the start.
It just feels all the same. Like the settings and everything is very the same. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
that's because the director Danny Boyle, I guess, wanted to. He does a good job of just like showing a bleakness of a certain thing before he changes it up,
Yeah,
and
it's
then
like
everything happens within like half an hour.
looking at multiple grey pictures and then trying to put them in the order that you saw them in.
Yes,
That was quite a good analogy, wasn't it?
it was not bad.
It was a good one.
No, it wasn't. That.
Kieran.
Okay, I'll give you this because I don't know, for some reason I feel like you need the motivation right now. So we got this guy Renton, and because that is his surname, yes, Renton, and he's our guy that we kind of followed the story of throughout the whole film. And
Played by Ewan McGregor.
Yes, and he narrates the film as well.
Yes.
We've got him and his mates. So we've got a sick boy. He's the like the bleach blonde one.
Yeah.
Who's a bit of a poet. Begbie, who is just a massive wanker, is really cocky. Spud, who's the tall kind of dumb one. And Tommy, who starts up really straight, like he's not on anything. He works out and he has a good relationship with his girlfriend. Then it kind of goes to shit towards the end.
They're like the four main characters.
Yes. Well, that's 5.
Been a long week.
Okay, so those 5 people will kind of follow their stories. Now, all of them, and also a woman called Alison, they all are regular users and abusers of the drug heroin, and they get this.
Except Begbie.
That is true.
Is it? Wait, Begbie.
Begbie. Yeah.
That's weird. Sorry, but go on.
Okay. So Begbie doesn't do any of it. He doesn't put any of that shite in your blood.
Can you do it with a Scottish accent?
I feel like I know
knew this was coming.
Yeah. I'll come to some later when I've got the direct quotes, because I'm not emotionally ready to do that.
Okay, all right.
I've spoken with too many Scottish people recently to just come out with it straight away.
Yeah, need to warm it up.
Yeah, exactly. So now we have these people, and we start off with essentially Renton is like he's on the drugs and he's trying to get off the drugs and he goes back into it again, and at one point he's in a nightclub.
Yeah.
But it's kind of weird to try and sum up like the first half hour of the film, I feel like, for me. Because for me, the first half hour is like setting the scene. Middle half hour is like shit starts to go wrong.
Yeah.
And he moves to London, and the last half hour is the big final thing, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to say a bunch of stuff that happens.
It's almost like there's a 3-act structure.
What? That sounds ridiculous.
But not that you'd know anything about that.
No, which I really don't. It's just a complete coincidence that the film's
actively avoid knowing anything about that.
Now, I'm just going to list a bunch of the things that happened during this period. So, Renton goes to a club with a bunch of his mates. They are all hooking up with different people, and he finally sees a woman called Diane.
Yeah.
They go back to her place.
And they get it on. And then he wakes up the next morning. He has breakfast with who he thinks are her flatmates. It's actually her parents, and she's going to school. Whoops. Yep. Oopsie daisy. Just had sex with an underage person, and so she's like, "Well,
happens to the best of us, Kieran."
if okay." And so she's all like,
It doesn't.
she's like, I'll see you again, won't I? And he's like, no, I'm not. You're not going to see me again. That's illegal. And she's like, well, if you don't see me again, I'll tell the police.
Yeah.
So totally blackmails him. Anyway, other stuff that happens. We see Tommy discussing his relationship with his girlfriend, and we see him, the fact that he's made a sex tape with his girlfriend as well. Now, at one point, Renton borrows this sex tape, puts a different video. He like swaps out the cassettes.
Yeah. So Tommy doesn't know that Renton's got the
because he
tape.
Just looks like he's borrowed the football goals one.
Yeah. So when Tommy's girlfriend goes to put the tape on and it's missing, they sort of have a massive falling out over the fact that Tommy's lost it. This sort of like boils into them breaking up, which ultimately leads to Tommy deciding that he wants to try heroin, being down on his luck. He's sort of like, I just want to try it. One of the things he said at the start of the film is that heroin is like an orgasm times 1,000. And he's like, well, that sounds good. So I'll have me some of that.
That sounds good for me.
Whilst there's no girlfriend in the picture.
Yeah. And other things that happened is that Renton and Spud, they get done for they get arrested for stealing things. So they steal car radios, they go and try and rob banks and all of this because they'll do anything they can to get another hit.
Yeah.
Because the Renton's plan to try and get clean has failed.
Yeah.
I think he tries to get
the last 12 hours or something like that.
Yeah, he tries to get clean like 3 times.
Yeah.
He doesn't get sent to prison because he's on this program to get him off of drugs.
Yeah.
But Spud goes to prison for, what was it, 6 months?
Yeah, 6 months.
He does his time whilst Renton goes down to London. So the impetus for him to go down to London was that everything was going to shit in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
So Big B was on the run as a fugitive, because that's what it means when someone's on the run. They're a fugitive. Did you know that, Jordan?
Yeah.
Cool.
Fugitive of the state.
Yes. And because he had committed an armed robbery, and so he was running away, and Tommy was in a really bad way with his heroin and stuff. And what else had happened? Oh, and also a baby had just died. So Alison, this is fucking bleak. Alison had this baby, and I guess through all of the time that we're watching them just getting high and trying to get off the drug and then getting back on it and stealing car radios and stuff, they've completely neglected looking after this baby. And at one point, they wake up from being stoned off their tits.
Yeah.
Alison is screaming her head off because there's the baby that's dead in the cot, and they don't know how long the baby's been dead for, but it looks like it's pretty rotten.
So all of those things sort of culminate, and Renton's like, I'm out of here. He leaves and goes to London and gets himself a job as a estate agent, and is doing sort of quite well for himself. He finds that
he's earning money and he's not on heroin.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, that's
so compared to where he was
for
before,
himself, doing quite well.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Thank you.
So then Big B
turns up on his front door.
And because Big B's a massive self-righteous wanker, he just takes over his flat and he's like makes him do whatever, makes Renton do whatever he wants because Big B can't get out of the flat because he's a fugitive.
Yeah.
So also another person comes to visit, which is
Sick Boy.
And Sick Boy is trying to do some dealings with brothels and things like that. He tried to get Diane, this underage girl, to work for him because he was being some kind of a, what's the word? Pimp, that's the one.
Yeah.
And he's trying to make some connections with people in London who own brothels and stuff. And he's doing everything he can to try and secure a big
skag deal.
A big skag deal, which is heroin, if you don't know. He tells them to fuck off and he puts them up in... So Renton puts these 2 people up, his mates, in one of the houses that he's trying to rent out or is trying to sell because he's sick of having them in his flat. But obviously that doesn't go well when one of the other estate agents shows them the flat and they mug them.
Yeah.
So they all go back up to Edinburgh, and it's good timing because Tommy has just died. Because Tommy was really upset bought.
He didn't die of a broken heart. He died of what was it?
I can't remember the name of the disease, but what it was is that Tommy was getting high as fuck all the time. He wanted to offer his ex or his girlfriend, his ex, whatever, a kitten to make up for the relationship. She wasn't having it. She was like, well, you can stick this kitten up your ass. And so he kept this kitten just lying around in the flat the whole time whilst he was still getting high and whatever. And he wasn't cleaning the house. There was just pissing and shitting everywhere. And he got a stroke from the just like the emanating sickness from the piss and shit that was in the flat, right? Because he died from a stroke.
Yeah.
He died from a stroke, but he had this illness that was...
The cat killed him, essentially.
Basically, the cat killed him, but the cat survived. And it was only... He had gone to hospital to treat this illness, but then he went back home, and then he got the stroke.
But he had, didn't he get HIV?
And he also had HIV, yes.
Right, yeah.
From the needles.
Tommy was a bit fucked anyway.
Yes.
So Tommy was fucked, and they also found that Sick Boy knew a guy who had bought 2 kilos of heroin off of some Russian dude and decided that he wanted to get rid of it very, very quickly, as I imagine you would want to do so.
Yes, I would want to do so.
Yeah, so they all basically pitched in and kind of forced Renton into doing it.
Because he had to stick up £2,000 to essentially to buy it off this guy.
Yeah.
So it was $4,000 in total, and Bigby had seen whilst he was living at Renton's flat in London that he had £2,100.
Yeah. So they buy it. Renton is made to test that it is good quality and thus sort of begin doing heroin again, essentially. They go down to London and they do the deal. The deal goes well. They get 16 grand. They're all celebrating, and then Begbie, they're at a pub, and then basically Begbie does what he always does and ends up getting into a fight. But it's like, because it's down in London and it's just not as well received as much as it's not like everyone else wants to have a fight. They're all just like, basically he smashes a glass into a guy's face and then like kicks him on the floor a couple of times. And then he's like, who else wants to fight? And everyone's just like, no, mate.
Not for me, thank you.
No, thank you. I'll just stick to my Sunday Times. And then at this point, well, there's a bit just before that where they go to the toilet, a couple of them, and Renton is looking at Spud, and he's like, should we just do a runner with the money? And Spud's like, you're joking, but we can see Renton is serious. And when they're lying down sleeping at night, Renton basically gets up, takes the money. Spud sees him and he's like, shakes his head, and he just takes it anyway. He gives like £1,000 or something to Spud. £2,000 in a locker, which we see after sort of midway through the credits. But Renton basically just fucks off with the money. And
obviously, Bigby's really pissed off, and what's his name? Sick Boy doesn't get anything because Sick Boy would have done the exact same to Renton if he'd have thought of it first.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the end of the film. Oh, Bigby gets like arrested.
Oh yeah,
and that's for that. Yeah, and that's the end of the film. So what did you think of the film, Keiran?
I thought it was cool.
Yeah?
Yeah. I liked it in general. And I like the storytelling. I like the narration. I like the poetry of different points.
Yeah.
I think I just hated Bigby every single time I saw him on the screen. Every time I saw his face, I was like, fuck this guy.
Yeah. It's like that classic, there's a song by The Streets, The Irony of It All.
Yes.
And there's it's done in like 2 different perspectives. One, like a guy that likes to drink, and the other is a guy that likes to smoke weed.
What's the guy's the lout's name? Is it Tony?
Tim or something like that, I think.
Okay. And
my name's Tim, and
my name's Tim, and I'm a law-abiding citizen.
No. That's
no. Sorry. My name's
Hello. I'm a law abider.
I'm a law abider. If I wasn't if a war was to begin, I'd be on the front line with him or something like that.
Yeah. He's basically saying because he's not breaking the law, he's of a higher moral standard
because he drinks.
Than people who take drugs. Whereas out of all of these people, Begbie seems like the one that actually does the most harm to others. Well, he's pretty much one of the only ones that does harm to others.
Yeah.
Whereas, like physical harm, whereas the others are stealing things from people. I mean, I'm sure there are heroin addicts that do hurt people. I'm sure that's definitely a thing.
Probably.
But yeah, there's a lot of him just being a violent drunk, and just not being an unsavory character.
Well, that is to say the least. He lies all the time. He's very homophobic. He sexist as well, and just doesn't give a shit. So
yeah, and actually homophobic as well. Like, not just like, I don't like gays. Like, he's actually like afraid of the. He seems like he's actually afraid of the concept of it.
yeah,
So there's one point where they're at a club and Begbie pulls, and they're in the car making out, and he sort of goes to, in the words of Trump, grab her by the pussy, but he doesn't grab her by the pussy.
you're saying got a pussy.
She hasn't. No, he grabs him by the balls, and he's like, "Fuck, and like runs out of the car and then basically runs away. Like,
He's just like screaming and kicking
Yeah.
the wall and stuff because it's like a venom and he wants to be rid of it from his
yeah,
system.
and then he's talking to Renton the next day, and it's almost like he's trying to logically explain how he's not homosexual, trying to like actually like it's like he's saying it to Renton, but he's kind of saying it to himself. He's like, no, I can't be. I'm not. Like, I'm not.
Yeah, of course. And Renton is kind of pulling his leg, saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, you know, it's basically saying you're fine and whatever." But Bigby takes this very personally and say, "I'm not a fucking poofter or whatever." It says. Yeah, so that's all lovely. What did you think of the film in general?
Yeah, I liked it. I don't really have anything to add. Like, I agree with a lot of the points you're saying. The sort of poetic aspects of it, the narration is cool. I just enjoy Scottish accents as well.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of our Scottish friends that we had at uni.
Mm-hmm.
Not like as in they took heroin and stuff, but like, you know, just the culture of it and all.
Yeah.
So I went to Prague for one of our friends' 21st birthday.
Lads on tour.
Yeah, and
lads
it
on
was
tour.
yeah, it was like it was supposed to be, you know, a large group of people from uni as well as his friends from Scotland, but no one from uni came, yourself included.
Yeah, sorry.
So it was just me, this little southerner. Well, not little. I'm pretty huge, I'm ripped, but me, a southerner, and like 5 other Scottish lads, and it was literally just like one of the most interesting experiences I've ever had.
Did you feel like it was a cultural exchange akin to one that you would have going to a different continent?
Yes. Yes.
And
I like just tried to blend in, like when we'd be out at the bar.
Well, dude,
and, like, all I could
first
do,
of all, you're mixed race, so I'm not sure how much
Yeah,
you'd have
it
blended
was
in
tough.
that way.
but I just sort of low grumbles whilst drinking, just like, oh, no, that was more like West Country then, wasn't it? Yeah,
It felt a bit piratey.
yeah.
But I do have some beefs.
Okay, yeah.
My first beef is the whole idea of like, he's a Pete of shit. He's a Pete.
He's a Pete of shit.
Sorry, he's a piece of shit, but he's a
You
mate.
should see his brother, John. He's a John of shit.
He's a piece of shit, but he's a mate.
Yeah.
And I just fucking hate that notion. It's like, if he's a piece of shit, then he shouldn't be your mate anymore, and just take him out of your life. Because if there is still beef after a time, it's like, well, just they're gonna hate you and whatever. But is he actually gonna like abuse you?
You don't have anyone in your life like that that's like such an old friend that you could sort of forgive them for not being totally good people?
No.
No?
No, I know I've made decisions like that before. It's like if you know, if something goes that way, I don't want that energy in my life. So you know, I'll say what needs to be said, and then I'll just move on.
How morally astute of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you know, if they're hurt by it, then it's like, well, we clearly have different expectations of what a friendship is. So in that case, it's even more beneficial for me.
Okay. So I've got a beef. I'm just going to interject.
Oh, okay. You can just go ahead.
It's happened quite early on in the film. And it's one of the scenes that I think was maybe in the trailer or something like that. A lot of people know of it. It's that scene where he like dives into the toilet.
Oh, yeah. What the fuck?
Just no toilet would be that dirty. It couldn't. I've seen some horrible toilets in my time. Yeah,
you don't think the toilet would be that dirty?
I've seen some awful toilets in my time. But that, there's no way that an establishment can exist that has a toilet like that.
Yeah, but remember, this is probably the time before like health and safety standards.
No, it's not. It's like the 90s.
I don't know. Like, I wouldn't be
No.
surprised if some places just got neglected or something and stuff.
No, I can't. No, there's just no way, because even if you neglected a bathroom, like, how does it get that fucked? How do you stay open with, like, because people won't come.
Well, they just wouldn't use the bathroom, because remember that the bathroom is far away down the corridor, that it's away from the main part of the establishment.
Well, it would have to be, because it would stink.
Exactly.
People wouldn't want to be there because of the smell.
Exactly. And it's like they have enough distance and enough doors in between the toilet, the disgusting...
What about all of the animals that would come and the infestations and that sort of thing?
Fucking hell.
I'm just saying, like, for it to be that disgusting,
Yeah.
there'd be so many repercussions because of that.
Yeah.
That it just couldn't happen.
Yeah. Also, he obviously didn't put the whole of his body down that toilet.
No, I think that was more of an artistic representation.
But then he was soaking wet when he came back to his flat.
Yeah, but maybe, like, I mean, we don't know what actually happened there. At that point, we were just seeing what he's seeing. And then, but he could have quite easily have just jumped into the toilet.
No,
like,
because you have U-bends in toilets.
What do you mean? Yeah, no, obviously he's not jumped into I'm saying, like, you can put 1 foot in and 1 foot out.
Dude, his whole body was soaked.
Was it? Because I only saw his feet.
Nah, man. His jacket was soaked.
Okay.
His whole thing was sodden. So that's because I can.
Maybe it's one of those situations where the flush just stopped working and it squirted out at him, or something like that. Or maybe, like, he just literally doused himself in water with the tap or something.
Yes, maybe.
But one thing I will agree with is that regardless, when you're in that situation and you just really need to go to the toilet, regardless of the toilet,
any toilet will do.
Well, no, the relief that he had on his face, that looked so genuine. And I was like, I could just connect to that piece of acting so convincingly.
Do you reckon that was legit? Like, do you reckon he actually held up not shitting for like 3 days?
Maybe.
I
don't know
wouldn't be
if Ewan
surprised.
McGregor is like a method actor or just, an actor.
Or just an actor, because
Yeah.
all the other actors are
Call
just
back
shite.
to when you complained about method acting.
Yeah, which just kind of surprised me. But then yeah. I'm
You're
still
not really to go back into that.
I'm still not really down with method acting, but anyway, the whole baby thing.
Yeah.
So
which bit? What, the dead baby or the hallucinating baby?
I mean, the hallucinating baby was scary as hell, but the dead baby was just like, okay.
That marked a point for me in the film where it was downhill. Everything from there, like, so I think the film kind of glamorizes drugs at the beginning, to a degree where, slightly, where he's he's saying, like, oh, it's like heroin is like an orgasm times 1,000, and they're like, Sick Boy is just sitting there, like, off his face, like, ranting about James Bond and stuff, and they're like having weird conversations, then going out to a club and like taking speed and stuff like that, and like just going on a mad one, and it's all like parties and drugs and alcohol and...
I mean, it's not as if you don't see the bad side of it.
No, you do, but like for me, like I've even got on my notes right at the start, it's just like, I mean, an orgasm times 1,000 sounds pretty good. That sounds like a nice thing.
That would be the slogan for it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and then when it hit the baby, that really felt like it was just this thing is awful.
Yeah,
and there is no retribution for it. Like, there is nothing you can't glamorize it after that, because that's something that legitimately happens.
Yeah,
and like, it ruins lives. And that, I think that imagery was so powerful that it really just like carved a turning point in the film.
Especially because after that point, by the way, did we ever see, like, did anyone get done for that?
No,
because surely someone would have found out about the baby, and I guess was it Alison who might have been responsible for the baby?
Maybe.
I mean, so therefore she'd get time.
But how does... Surely, like, there's some sort of system in place that would mean that people would be keeping tabs on the baby. Like, my friend's mum, she has like 2 birthdays because her dad didn't register her for like 6 days or something like that after.
What,
And
he
it
has
doesn't-
forgot when she was born?
Well, no, he just didn't get around to it.
Well, no, because you don't have to take them to be registered straight away.
Oh, so maybe he did forget it then. But she's like her official day that she was actually born, and then the day that she's registered as being born are different.
So on her passport, it's like 6 days later than the day that she was born.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
That's fucked.
Yeah. It is fucked.
That's so.
I don't think it's really had that much of a negative effect on her, though. I think if it's a large period of time,
Yeah.
then yeah. But you do, yeah, of course you exist.
I don't know, because like if they've. So
You probably have to prove that you exist, like as in records of your mother and father.
yeah, but if you're a baby, you're not making that proof. Baby's not going up to registry office being like, my name is fucking Dawn, and I'm a baby.
Where the hell did you learn language like that as a baby?
I live around heroin users.
How do you understand the concept of heroin as an infant?
They don't eat any food. It's just heroin. There you go.
How do you know the difference between food and heroin as a child?
I don't know the difference
It could just be juice or salt.
the juice they put in their arms.
Arm juice.
Arm juice. Heroin arm juice.
Heroin arm juice.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Heroin arm juice sounds like a wrestler's name.
Does it?
Welcome to the blue corner. Heroin arm juice.
Did you watch much wrestling
No.
growing up?
No, I was
about to
banned
say.
from watching
Neither did I,
wrestling.
but that sounds fucked.
I was completely not allowed to watch wrestling.
Yeah, me too.
That's good. Moving on. So, Mother Superior. Mother Superior is not a female. It is
Yeah.
a man he deals the heroin, and he provides provides the location for everyone to get high as balls, and let's say someone pays him loads of money, or just pays him like 20 quid or however much. I don't know what the going rate is in 1996.
But you don't know what the going rate is now.
No, I've got like the whole the whole stocks app on your iPhone. Yeah, I've got that for heroin.
Yeah. It's on the FTSE 100.
Yeah, I've got it for cocaine as well. It's called Rocks.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Don't know. I didn't get that.
Stocks, Rocks.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Thanks
for clarifying.
Cheers. Anyway, so you can go out to him and you can be like, "I hate Mother Superior," and he's called Mother Superior because of the length of his habit.
Yeah.
See what they did there? I really appreciate that. That was cool.
Why?
So,
Why?
Because it's like if you have a really long heroin addiction, then you have a long habit. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
And
it's a habit.
nuns wear habits.
Oh no, I didn't know.
That's
I
the
didn't
name
make
of
that
their
connection.
clothes.
No, I didn't make that connection. I didn't
that's
know
the deal.
that's what nuns wear.
And so the Mother Superior
Never heard
usually
of that
typically has like the longest habit in the whole convent.
Okay, that's cool.
So there you go.
Oh, I thought it was just a reference to him being superior in terms of his genetical resistance to dying.
Yeah, but so much so that he has to get it like injected into his groin or something like that.
Oof.
Yeah, it was gross.
Oh, mate, the lengths you go sometimes.
Yep. Anyway, how does he not get shut down? I don't understand how someone hasn't found the root of where this heroin comes from, or hasn't searched for, like, how have the parents of the people not just been, I don't know, like tracked Renton down for a day to just see where he goes? You know?
Well, I think it looks like the place they're in could quite easily be transferable, in as much as it looks like a vacant house. They don't have any electricity or power in there, do they? It's just an empty house.
But it is the same house each time.
Okay. But equally, that sort of estate block so you see the ambulance drive down it, don't you? There's probably quite a lot of little cracked ends, as they were.
Mhm.
And I feel like it's probably quite transferable. They could just up and move if it got a little hot or something.
Shit.
I see what you mean, and it is a valid point, but also I think, maybe they have ways.
Okay. Okay. I've got probably one of my last beefs. Is that I don't understand why it was that Renton had to test the big batch of heroin at the end.
I would have thought it'd be Spud.
Well, I guess Renton was kind of worried that he was kind of worried for him, and he'd done time.
Do you remember what the reason? Because he gave a reason for each of them.
So he was like, well, Big B wasn't going to do it because he doesn't do drugs.
That. Yeah. Sick Boy was being too cautious.
Yeah.
Spud, I can't remember.
I don't really remember
Doesn't
either.
make
I think it's
sense.
something to do with prison. I just don't understand why the dealer couldn't do it.
Well, the dealer.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to go to the deal with shit heroin, do you? That's a bad way. To
No. Not the deal that they were selling when they were buying it.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Well, he was drunk and sort of just did it, didn't he? So maybe he didn't think to do that.
Okay. All
Didn't
right.
think to get someone to check it. But
So-
why would the dealer's not going to do it? Is he?
Why not?
Well, why? Like,
He's proving it to them that it's legit.
yeah, but you don't get high on your own supply. That's the rule, isn't it?
I don't know. In his little den, it seemed like he.
Which den? You don't see the dealer that gave them all of these drugs.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, that little guy.
Yeah,
He's their friend that bought it off the Russians.
that's what I'm saying. He's
yeah, but
their
it doesn't
dealer.
necessarily mean that he does heroin.
I don't know, man. Like if you looked at there was another
He looks
time
pretty green to me.
because Renton bought the suppositories off him near the start of
did
the
he?
film. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So he was dealing those.
oh,
ones.
yeah, no, he was pretty dodgy. Okay.
Yeah, and he was just living on a mattress in the corner of what looked like a fucking multi-story car park.
Well, if
so.
he doesn't do heroin, he's obviously going to want to get someone else to try it that does do heroin
Okay.
or has done heroin.
So maybe he could have been the only person, but I just thought, Renton, really?
Yeah, you really fucked it there, didn't
That
you?
was a shame.
Yeah.
You got any more beefs?
It's kind of a beef. It was just the fact that the judge let him do that thing, that not course, but that program to get clean. And he says like, "Thank you, Your Honor. With any luck, I'll beat this horrible disease."
Yeah.
And he says it with like such a look of like,
With God's help, I'll beat this terrible affliction.
yeah, like he just doesn't look like he's convinced at all in himself. Like he's not actually doesn't mean it.
It's taking the piss.
And yeah, and the judge looks at him like he knows that he doesn't mean it. So why is this happening? Like just,
Well, because you got to take them on the charges, haven't you?
what do you mean?
So I think it was that Spud. It was like you've straight up, you've made no efforts to improve, and also I think the thing that he did in the first place, it's like he fucked up more than Renton did, so he would go straight to prison for 6 months anyway.
Right.
Whereas Renton initially the crime that he committed was a bit less so apparently, and also he'd made these steps to get off heroin. So
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, I was just, I don't know. Didn't look like that judge was convinced that was going to happen, and so I was like, well, why are you doing that? Surely
Okay.
that's poor judgment.
I'm gonna go through a bunch of quotes. Who needs reasons when you've got heroin?
Yeah.
Who needs reasons?
It does. Yeah. When he was talking about how life is a lot more simple,
Mm-hmm.
it does seem simpler.
When they go for a walk at one point, and Tommy's like, "Come on, let's go for a walk. We're in the great outdoors." And Renson's like, he's having a go at like the English for
Yeah, that was so
colonialising
great.
the
I
Scots,
love that bit.
and he's like, "We couldn't even find good people to be colonialised by,
Yeah.
colonialised by." And he's like, "Some people hate the English. I don't. I just think they're wankers." Which is I'll take it.
Mm.
That's all right.
Well, I just thought if moving to London is your way of sort of making things better, that's just you've got to be in a pretty sorry state of affairs already.
Well, really?
Yeah, no. Everyone in London is just so angry all the time, though. Like it's such.
I'm not angry all the time, Jordan.
No, but 9 times out of 10, people are stressed and like just packed it. I hate to use the tube analogy, but literally just like packed in like sardines. Everyone's on top of each other.
Nah.
No one has any time for each other.
I think it depends who you're around, really. Like I'm making a conscious effort to be around people that I really want to be around. So, and I don't.
Yeah, but it's not. It's the thing that you have to make an effort to be around nice people.
Okay, I guess so. Okay, in the culture of London, you don't just start talking to people on the tube.
No.
Like for me, that doesn't really bother me because I was never that kind of person anyway. So
Right.
maybe London's perfect for me.
But have you tried it?
Yeah,
You tried that culture
for like 5 minutes at
When?
different points.
And where?
There was one time that I had a practice pad on the tube, and there was this girl that was looking at me a bunch, and
Right.
I think I was like 17 or something, and so I was practicing on the tube,
In
and
the
she was
cool
looking over.
guy years.
What?
In the cool guy years, back when you had hair.
No. This is the thing. So I had hair,
Yeah.
and I've looked back to those pictures, and I was like, oh, okay, I actually looked all right. I looked well fit and stuff. but I just had no concept of loving myself, so I didn't do anything with that, which is a shame because if I'd have loved myself more, then I maybe could have got more done. Anyway, so I went over to this girl. I sat in front of her on the tube, and so I have this app on my phone where you can type stuff, and it types it to the size of your screen, so it types real big.
Right.
And because it was so noisy on the Northern line, I said, "Hey, my name's Keiran." Like something like "How was your day?" or something,
Right.
with a smiley face, and showed her. And she was like, "Sorry, I have a boyfriend." And I'm like, well, that doesn't mean that we can't keep talking. Sure, that's fine. And it was so, oh my God, it's Jordan. It was so awkward. And she got off like at the next stop. She was, "Oh yeah, this is my stop. Yeah, bye. It was nice to meet you." And I'm quite sure I saw her just walk down the platform a little bit and just stand next to the tube before it left, so that she could just be on the next train as opposed to.
Well, there you go. I mean, like that's an odd way to start a conversation.
Yeah, and so I haven't done it again like that.
Right.
There's been other ways which have felt more natural.
Okay.
Or like I find like one of the best ways is to talk to someone who's not from London about London and see who's listening, because there'll be people around you. So
you're like fishing for people to converse with.
Yeah.
Using tourists as bait.
Exactly. That's precisely right. So I take the piss out of London whilst talking to like Americans or something.
Yeah.
And then like suddenly like you'll have like one guy with like a fucking fold up bicycle or something be like, "Yeah, that's right," and then just before he gets too embarrassed goes back to his like fucking Kindle or something. And then someone's looking up from the Evening Standard a bit too much and stuff like that. So there are ways in. It's just I'm fine with just having my earplugs in like my earphones in the whole time. But for a long time I was thinking I want to just walk around with a post-it note on my chest saying, "Talk to me, I'm a nice person." But I feel like that's
not the type of engagement that I'm talking about, though.
Okay, what are you saying?
So there was a time when I was in Amsterdam, the people out there seem to be very friendly, and will talk to tourists and people and stuff like that. Me and my girlfriend were just standing there waiting for a train, and it was really loud. There's another train going on or something, and it was making all sorts of weird screechy noises.
Yeah.
And this old lady was just like started doing like covering her ears, like, you know, feigning that it was like really painful, and then laughing with us, like, because it was like this weird little. She was just like, "Oh, this situation that we're both in right now is quite uncomfortable, isn't it? Isn't it strange and annoying?" And then it was like, even though we couldn't speak the language, and she immediately realized we were English, and then we just sort of had a micro conversation. And it's just, but that kind of thing on a more happening more often doesn't seem to happen in London.
Okay.
People don't take time to actually just like, and it doesn't need to lead anywhere. It's just a conversation, just around the current situation, or just you know just talking to people.
I like making humour of really stressful situations, like let's say a tube carriage is really packed or something, or like there was a time where there's a dating app that put up a bit of mistletoe during the tube carriage during Christmas, yeah, and like all of the passengers were looking at each other like no fucking chance.
Yeah,
but I think what the stuff that you were talking about just then with that lady, and there's like a little conversation. For me, if a conversation is like, yeah, yeah, that's like, I'm not interested in that kind of conversation, which can just be summed up with like a chuckle and yeah, me too, yeah. No, I'm not down with that.
That's heavy, man. That's heavy. You're putting so much weight on every conversation.
Especially like, what if I'm using my my transport time to be deliberately in my zone? Maybe there should be like a discrete system. Like if you wear like a wristband or something, or like a badge. You know how they have those badges saying "Babe, you're on board," and so you should give up your seat for those people. Yeah,
like a green for go.
Green for go,
amber
chat to me.
Maybe just a little gesture.
A little, yeah.
And a red for don't come near me.
Yeah, exactly.
Respect my personal space.
Exactly. And there are times where I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to wear my earphones this time. I'm going to risk getting deafened by the tube carriage. So, I'll wear the green one and then see who talks to me.
Okay. Well, you're entitled to, your way of living.
Cool. If you were to be someone in this film, who'd you be?
I'd be Sick Boy.
Okay.
I'd just love to have the nickname Sick Boy. How fucking awesome is that?
You do say it a lot more, a lot cooler than they say
Sick
it.
Boy.
Yeah.
Do I?
I think you just the whole thing. Say it again.
Sick Boy.
Yeah. You say boy as if it's BOI as opposed to
Sick Boy.
Yeah, and you say it a lot quicker as well. Whereas the way
You say it.
sick boy.
Nah, it's the same.
Oh, okay, well maybe we just say it differently to the way that they say it, but I think it sounds cooler coming from us. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, they pronounce the Y a little bit more, isn't it? Like Sick Boy.
I can't really. Okay,
that's not.
So what else would you do with being sick boy?
So he just seemed like he was quite. I mean, it's that we don't see too much of it, and so I can't really make a solid assumption. But he seems to have some sort of like talk about him, some intelligence, the gift of the gab almost. He's got charisma and can sort of like pull a room a little bit. Would you agree?
Yes, but I feel like he is kind of just full of shit a lot of the time.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean by like we can't really tell if there's any real like smartness to there, but there doesn't need to be. That's what I mean. It's like that, gift of the gab, having some talk about him.
Do you feel like you don't have enough talk?
No, I'm not saying that I want to be him because I'm lacking those things in my life. I'm just saying if I wanted to change the film in some way, which is what the segment is about.
Yeah. So what would you do?
I would probably try and just do this whole deal thing much sooner. Don't think he's necessarily trying to do that right at the beginning, is he? And like, I'd use it to my benefit a lot more to try and gain some sort of wealth or a situation that would be beneficial to myself. Who would you be?
I'd be Diane.
Okay.
And probably blackmail Renton some more.
Yeah.
Say, if you don't get off that drug, I'm going to tell everyone that you...
I was thinking more like give me money or something.
Well, sure. But, I mean, because I feel like she is a good influence at some points. It's like, you're clean, aren't you? I mean, she's kind of saying, you don't have AIDS, do you? But she doesn't want him to take heroin. And she's kind of like, you need to like discover new things and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think she's all right.
Childlike positivity.
Yeah.
She's still a child.
But I don't condone the underage sex thing.
Yeah, no.
I mean, especially an older person having sex with someone underage. I don't condone that.
Okay, so you just try and have a more positive effect on Brenton?
I think so, because he's the person that he's like the linchpin. Because without him, like, I don't think any of this stuff would be able to happen.
I believe in the great book of film, they refer to that character as the main character.
The protagonist.
Yeah.
I mean, within the friendship circle as well. I feel like without him, none of them would really be connected at all.
No?
Which actually might be for their benefit, because Sick Boy would just go off and do his own thing. He'd be an entrepreneur doing.
But they all seem to know each other independent of him when he leaves.
What did you say?
They still remain in contact with each other even when he leaves to London.
That is a good point.
Checkmate?
Checkmate. Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay.
If you were to bring someone though.
See, it was a bit of a deep cut, and I'm not sure if many people are going to follow with this one.
Okay.
So obviously, this time and place is very drug ridden. What do you know of the character Black Dynamite?
I haven't seen the full film, which I'm really annoyed about, because I've seen a whole load of it and it's fucking hilarious.
There's a second one coming out this year.
Okay, I need to watch it.
Yeah. It's just I saw a trailer and it just was just like someone smoking a cigar, and then it just said "Black is back."
So you just know.
And then I think it was like 2018 or something like that.
Wicked.
Yeah. But so basically, for those of you that don't know, Black Dynamite is a blaxploitation parody set in the 70s. I think it came out in 2013 or something like that. And it's about this Superfly brother by the name of Black Dynamite, who is also a martial arts like master.
Yeah. Naturally.
/ detective slash overall badass.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically goes around cleaning the streets of drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And just bring him in and let him do that in Scotland. I feel like that would just be such an amazing, because he just like he just speaks with such a cool and like 70s style. There's so many brilliant quotes.
Talk about all the James Bond things that fucking Sick Boy comes up with. I reckon Black Dynamite would come in and just say one of those lines, and it would just be like, all right, that's exactly what we were on about.
Yeah.
There we go.
So
could he be the next James Bond?
Oh my god, that would be great. Oh, what is his name? It's
No, I don't want the actor to be.
Oh, you want
I want
Black Dynamite.
I want Black Dynamite to be.
There's actually talk of the next James Bond being casting a black actor.
Well, that's probably,
everyone's screaming for Idris Elba, but I think his time has probably passed.
It's a shame, isn't it? I feel like James Bond has to look good shaved.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, all right. So we're looking for British actors who look good shaved, and obviously not female.
Well,
because that would be ridiculous if James Bond was female.
No, it wouldn't.
Because, all right, this is really going on a tangent. But what if James Bond is like, it's just a code name?
Yeah. Well,
so we're not pretending.
It's a code name. It's not. It's not his real name.
Yeah, but what I'm saying
oh
is.
Wait, no. I was just thinking 007. Jesus.
Well, what I'm saying is that we're not pretending that James Bond is actually the same person throughout every single film.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of different humans, but they all take the name James Bond. And they all have the same infamous thing.
Yeah. No, yeah. I James Bond could be a woman.
Potentially.
What about what's her face? Nope, never mind.
Okay. All right.
So who would you bring?
I'd bring Desmond from Hacksaw Ridge.
Right. Why?
Because that guy can mend some heroin addicts.
Yeah.
Especially, he would just go. He would just follow Bigby around and just clean up all of the people who injure themselves or who get injured by Bigby, and he'd just be applying tourniquets.
His
left, right, and center.
His desire to heal rivals the desire of a heroin addict to have heroin. Just like, just one more.
Exactly, but at the same time, maybe like the act of applying a tourniquet actually almost looks like them getting ready to shoot up.
It?
Yeah. It's the same system, isn't it? Like they're putting a belt or like they're applying pressure and stuff.
I feel like Desmond would just turn into a heroin addict.
Yeah, I don't think he's very. What do you reckon the Lord would want him to?
He's got a lot of willpower.
Yeah, I reckon the Lord would probably tell him not to take drugs.
Well,
or maybe heroin would bring him closer to
maybe heroin would bring him closer to drugs.
Yeah, maybe.
I would agree with that statement, Kieran.
Yeah, I think kind of agrees with itself.
I can't disagree with that.
Yeah.
No.
So there you go. Would you stay indoors to watch Trainspotting?
Yeah, I would. It's a classic, and it's really nicely put together. I think the story it tells is interesting, and it doesn't get boring or anything like that. I wouldn't watch this if you want to watch a film about train spotting, but if for some reason that's something that you're not interested in, then I would watch this film.
Are you saying
got really
that
cryptic, didn't it?
Well, yeah. So do you? If you do want to watch a film about train spotting, don't watch this film.
No, because you'll be disappointed.
But if you want to watch a film about heroin,
or if you just want to watch a film,
well, yeah, sure. Then watch this film. Yeah. I would stay indoors to watch this film.
Okay, we're agreed.
Cool.
So what are we watching next week?
Next week we are watching Old Boy.
Yeah.
Which is not the 2013 one, but the 2003 one.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Cool.
It's going to be good.
I've got no idea what's going on there, so we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. See you next week.
See you next week.
Bye. Here, name something that has 4 toes.
4 toes?
Yeah.
Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, nice. Well
I think
done.
so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So you can find us at 250 Reasons, or you can listen to us.
I just really struggle with how this relates to. If it's established that it doesn't relate, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't relate. That's okay.
It doesn't.
But you can see if we have 4 toes or not. 250 Reasons. On Twitter.
Sometimes we post Instagram pictures of our toes.
Yeah. We do a Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino.
Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
Is the quent? Is that a number?
5.
5.
Yeah. Or
5 toes.
quantum.
Quantum of solace.
Oh, this.
So anyway, you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Acast, Podbean, YouTube, or you can send us in an email at 250reasons@gmail.com.
If you've got 4 toes, then let us know.
We'd love to know.
Send a 15-second pitch about a film starring your 4 toes.
Yeah.
That'd be lovely.
The good, the bad, the ugly, and the extra.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Okay, bye.